Would you give yourself a stellar review? What about a pay raise? And as an employee, what is your viewpoint of you as a boss? I'm trying to speak slowly here. So you're the employee. Think of yourself as the boss. As an employee, would you like you as the boss? Would you think that the boss is doing a great job? Now, if you're feeling a little off right now, maybe you need to look at your leadership skills. Yes, as a solopreneur, you do need leadership skills. And you say, well, who am I leading? Well, hold on, because today on Make It Click, I have with me good friend and business coach, Lynne Roe. Lynne, welcome to Make It Click.
Hi, Christine, and thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, I'm so happy that you've finally come on my show. It's been a while, but I finally got you here. Now, you've worked in the past with small and large companies as well as nonprofits. And I guess right now you're doing nonprofits and small business. So you've seen a lot over the years, I would imagine.
I sure have, and it's interesting that there are a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences too. But even as a solopreneur, you have to lead your business. You have to become the leader that your business needs to grow to where you want to be.
Hmm. Yeah, and I like when you think about it, like if I was an employee of my business, would I give myself a pay raise?
It's a
If
really
I have
good
to think
question to
about
ask.
it, I guess that's not good.
It's a good question to ask. And I even go further when I'm talking about strategic planning with people for their business. You're a solopreneur, but you still have to ask your marketing department, right? Which is you. Ask your marketing department, um, what does my marketing department need from me as the CEO, right? What does my sales department need from me as a CEO? What does my operations department need from me as a CEO? And what does my team need from me as a CEO? You really have to ask yourself those questions. That's when you step back and you start to act like the CEO when you ask the questions of the team, even if the team is you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and in this case, it is okay to be talking to yourself. I want our audience to
Good
know
point. Yes.
it's okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the foundations that are needed if you want your business to grow. What are some of the things we need to be putting in place uh, as the leader of our business?
Yeah. So, first of all, as a small business, whether you're a solopreneur or you have a small team, as a small business, most likely you got into business for yourself because you wanted to make more money than you were in some working for someone else, or you wanted to have more control over your time, or sometimes it's because you just want to make sure that you're serving the clients the way you think they should be served, right? That's why you got into business. And so often small business owners get overwhelmed. They work too many hours. They don't make as much money as they want to, and they can't serve the clients the way they want to. So my feeling is that if you're going to work that hard to grow your business, then grow it to be the kind of business you want to have and allow you to live the lifestyle that you want, right? And in order to do that, you have to do some planning and you have to put some foundations in place to be able to grow from those foundations. So that includes a lot of things. It includes knowing where you're going. What is the business that you're actually trying to build and grow, right? And then so let's say that's 10 years out. What is the business you're growing for 10 years out? And then what do you need to be doing in the next 3 years in order to get that 10 years out? And then you can start thinking about, okay, what am I going to do this year? So that you're always aiming in the same direction. Um, and then as the CEO, you're going to start thinking about how am I growing my business to get there? It's kind of like if you were in a sailboat race. it's never a straight line, right? Business is never a straight line. Things happen. You have to make a twist here or a turn there. But if you are always aimed at the same mark, eventually you'll get there, right? So often business owners, they say, oh, let me try this, and let me try this, and they totally forget what they're trying to build. So the foundation starts with, what am I building? Where am I going with this business? That's where you start with it.
Yeah, I like how you talk about the 10 years out where you want to be and starting at 3 years. It's like, I'm thinking a lot of our listeners are not thinking that far out.
No, they're not. Yeah.
And that's sad that too many of us are just thinking about tomorrow or
Right.
next week. I-
Here's the important thing about that, though. You can't actually plan right now for what the world is going to be like 10 years from now, right? You can't do that. And that's why people say, I can't think 10 years out. But what you do need to be thinking about is, what's the lifestyle that I want to be living that this business is going to support? And what does the business need to look like in order to support that lifestyle? And then you can start to grow your business in that direction so that you can live that lifestyle. That's something you can kind of plan 10 years out,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Well, and I would imagine when you think of it that way, you're going to start thinking about the time you're spending working in your business and realizing that, oh, I don't want to be putting in 40, 60, 80 hours a week 10 years from now. So what do I have to do now
In order to,
to get to that
yeah,
point? And that's well, I'm a systems and process person. I'm a true believer in, if you put the right systems in place and automate what you can, and automation is not all about technology either, um, that you can work less in your business. Uh,
yeah,
and again, but too many of our listeners are not even thinking that way. They're
yeah.
being reactive instead of proactive.
Right. It is all about, where do you want to be? So I had a client who, when I met him, he said, I want to own my own jet and I want to be jet setting around the world. And I said, that's great. Let's talk about what you will need to do to get there. And we had a conversation. He had a business he could grow to be that big so that he could get to that point. But he also realized that it wasn't the business that he wanted to be running. And so he started to rethink, okay, maybe I don't own my own jet. Maybe I just have, the rental jets where you have somebody, who will fly it for you. And then we built the business, or we designed the business so that it could get to that point for him.
Mhm.
So it is a matter of, realistically, where do I want to be? And then you do have to put processes and procedures in place. And some of that is automation, and some of that is just having system in place. How do these things happen
Mhm.
so that they happen over and over again? So you're not reinventing the wheel all the time.
Oh, music to my ears, Lynn. Music to my ears. Yes. I don't like wasting time myself, although, okay, I have my moments. But when you find yourself doing something over and over again, but you're not quite knowing, how did I do that before? Oh, well, I think this is it, but then you're tweaking it a little bit. Boy, are you wasting time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of time, now, all too often business owners are afraid to take time away from making the money to work on these things, to develop these areas of their business. I would imagine that's a huge mistake.
It is a huge mistake. It really is. Uh, Honestly, having a cadence of meetings, I say meetings, it can be, it's a way of communicating with your team. And when you're a solopreneur, your team is you, right? But setting aside a time every week to review what's happening in the business, what are the issues that I'm dealing with over and over and over again that I need to resolve, right? Having a time in your schedule every week that's when you're going to be working on your business makes a big difference. It really does. And then every quarter to say, okay, what am I getting done this quarter? And you also, obviously, you need an annual plan as well, time for planning. What am I doing in the next year?
Yeah.
So yeah, setting that time aside makes all the difference for between a business that's just kind of overwhelming and a business where you are solving the problems so that you have more free time to either add more business or go enjoy your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think people need to realize also, as much as you're a solopreneur, that doesn't mean you figure it all out yourself. That there are plenty of people like you, Lynn. You're here to help people build their business. And I like to, well, I don't know a lot about psychology. I don't know anything about psychology and the brain and all that stuff, but I do know the human body is not capable of figuring all that stuff out, that you need the input from someone else.
Yeah.
And again, that's where someone like you, Lynn, comes in to help the business owner.
And also someone like you, Christine, to help the business owner because you know things that I couldn't possibly know all of the stuff that you know, right? And that's true for all of us as business owners. We can't know everything. What I say to small business owners in particular is if you were in a big corporation, you would hire a whole team of people who knew stuff that you didn't know, right? But as a solopreneur, you can't know it all. So it really helps to hire an expert in different areas to help you out. You don't have to put them on your full-time staff,
Mhm.
but you need those people that you can bounce ideas off of. You need those people that you can say, I'm considering this. What have I forgotten? What do I need to think about? Right?
Mhm.
Those are the kinds of things you really need people who you can do that with and who are committed to helping you get to where you want to be.
Right. And as a little sidebar here, I just want to tell our audience, and that's not asking a question on Facebook, just saying, because Facebook doesn't know what you need.
It's a really good point. Yeah.
It just breaks my heart when people do that. I'm a questioner. I look deep into what the real question is, and whenever I work with somebody, I'm full of questions. And that's why I love doing Make a Click too. Um, but people on Facebook are just like what their solution is. It works for them, so it must work for you.
Right.
No. Mm-mm.
And every business is different. So you have to find the solutions that are right for your business. And an expert like Christine or me, and depending on your expertise, but when you hire an expert, they can look at your business and say, your business is different and it needs this kind of solution, as opposed to this other business over here, which needs a different kind of solution. So that's the reason for talking to an expert who knows what they're doing to help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn, I've heard you mention a little bit. You feel that the client does not come first?
Mm. That is,
Really?
yeah, that is so true. Here's the thing. Your business has to come first. Your business absolutely has to come first because if your business wasn't there, you couldn't help your client.
Mm,
So the client can't come first. Now, that's not to say that one of your jobs as being the business owner is providing excellent service to your client, right? That's your job as a business owner. But that's only one of your jobs as a business owner.
mm,
You have all these other things. You have to make sure that you're profitable. You have to make sure that you're doing your marketing. You have to make sure that you can keep the business going by making sales calls and all of that. Those things have to be built into your schedule, or you won't have a business to help the client that you want to help. So you actually really have to think about your business before you think about your client.
oh, good message, Lynn. Very good. Thank you for that. Lynn, this has been wonderful. Do you have something that you want to share with the audience, some way for them to stay in touch with you?
I do. Yes, I have a free offer for everyone who's interested. It's called the 5 Keys to Success. And it's a little ebook on 5 ideas that you should think about as a business owner to help you become a better business owner.
Mm.
So you can get that at lynsfreegift.com. That's Lynn, Lynnes, lynsfreegift.com.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, Lynn. I do have one more question for you. I can't help myself. Um, and when you think about you and your business over all the years, everything that you've learned, maybe it's just some way you're doing something in business, or maybe it's a piece of technology. Is there something that sticks in your mind to say, wow, that's what really made a difference for you in your business?
Interesting question. What really made a difference for me? Um, I think when I decided to be really intentional about what I was doing. You know, this is the business I'm growing. This is the way I want to live my life. And this is the business I need to support it. And when I got really intentional about that, all the other pieces kind of fell in place.
Hmm. So you listened to your own medicine. You listened to what you work with your clients on
It's
doing.
true. It's true. Yep.
That's wonderful, Lynn. This has been great. Thank you so much for being my guest today on Make It Click.
Thank you so much.